Hey fans, Scott Warris here previewing the conference's men's golf championships with 16th year head coach Adam Volbrecht. 16 years.
You're making me feel old, Scott.
16. Does it go fast?
It's flown by.
Everybody always says it goes fast.
Oh my goodness, it feels like yesterday.
Before we preview the championships coming up this weekend, let's start there. How has the game, as you've seen it from a coaching perspective, how has the game changed in 16 years as a D3 head coach?
Golf is so good right now. These kids hit it a mile. They just bomb the ball. The equipment's so good.
I was going to say, how much is equipment and how much is just raw talent?
I think coming out of 2020, just that renewed vigor for the game in the country, kids are matching up the equipment with training, and there's good instruction out there, not just physical instruction, but mental skills and that kind of stuff. It's really good right now.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your squad here this year. It's a young group, no seniors, I think just 2 juniors, and the rest are freshmen and sophomore.
Yep.
I imagine every coach that has that much youth would say there have been some growing pains and whatnot, but how would you characterize the way this fall has gone for you guys?
It's fun. It's really exciting to have seniors and to have that leadership and that experience, and you're more fine-tuning stuff. It's overwhelming almost to have so many young guys on there, so much for us to learn and get better at that you almost don't know where to start sometimes. But it's so much more rewarding to have young guys, to see them take those steps and to pick up on things and what we're trying to do and to see them grow. So it's, it's fun to have seniors and do that stuff, but it's almost more fun in a lot of ways to have young guys where it's a whole lot more of a blank slate to operate from.
Are you able to, with that in mind, are you able to, as a coach, how do you calibrate how you coach? I assume, maybe I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, you're going to coach an upperclassman heavy roster differently than you are younger guys? Is that fair to say? Maybe not.
Big fan of John Wooden.
Sure.
And one of John Wooden's mantras was, if I have 12 guys, I have 12 different sets of rules, 12 different sets of expectations, 12 different philosophies, because each person responds differently. And so whether they're returners, whether they're new people, really try to focus on the individual and how I connect with them and how they get the most out of what they have, more than it be a returner versus new person thing. Because I've had seniors that really need to go back and understand the basics of looking at and learning how to read a pin sheet. It blows your mind sometimes, but the things you take for granted, you got to do. And I've had other kids come in as first-year students that are further ahead on some of that stuff and just need more fine-tuning on approach or confidence or learning a new shot.
We were talking with one of your golfers, Riley Tansey. I think it was back maybe in September when he was men's golfer of the week, as I recall. And we were talking about the mental game. And as great as you can be swinging the club, if you're not right between the ears in that moment, it really doesn't matter. How do you coach that? And has that gotten more difficult to coach the mental element of golf over time?
No, I think it's gotten easier
Why?
To coach because there's been more conversation about that.
Sure.
Just, nationally, as you look at anxiety or mental health or whatever, it's not a taboo topic in the way that it maybe was even 16 years ago when I started. Like, you could talk about counseling and those things, and people look at you like you got a third eye in the center of your forehead. But now they've had those conversations, those topics have been brought up in life and in competition, probably even before they got here. And so they have different connections to draw back from to think how this might connect to other things that they've heard or learned differently than any previous generations have.
Let's turn our attention to the weekend to come. Rounds 1 and 2 in Kohler. Meadow Valleys of Black Wolf Run. Talk, if you could, just give us a little thumbnail about how the tournament is set up. We'll call it unique in that you have 2 rounds here in the fall, and then rounds 3 and 4 aren't until the spring. Take us through, for folks who don't know, the way the conference sets up the championships.
It is unique, and it is a wonderful thing for our conference. We have never, since the NACC, NAC, NACC, creation conglomerate, not put objectively our best team forward as our conference's champion to go represent us at the national tournament. And so while it is unique, it certainly allows us to determine and send forth our best champion. So yeah, those 36 holes in the fall, we play at a world-class venue. When we're standing in the tee box and you're seeing 2 U.S. Women's Open tee markers that are permanently there, you are walking on one of the top facilities in the country. Nobody has access at any level of golf, much less the Division III level, to this type of competition venue. It's such a great experience for our student athletes. And then we go down to Stonebridge in the spring and play those final 36 holes. That's a place that hosted, an Ameritech Senior Open LPGA event. Like, we're playing top venues that are championship caliber for Division III student athletes in the Midwest. It's so awesome.
Before we wrap this thing up, give me an X factor for your team, for your young guys, not just this weekend, but the final 2 rounds in the spring, which we'll get to in the spring. Something that's in the back of your mind that could be an X factor this weekend.
If you look at some of our young guys, we're trending in the right direction. You mentioned, right, we don't have any seniors, but we have some young guys that are really playing well right now. And if you look over their last couple tournaments, have started to figure out this competition thing at the college level. Or we have some other guys that have really taken some good strides in managing themselves around the golf course and not letting that mental part of the game overwhelm them. And so I would say X factor, if you look at some of our young guys, even our younger young guys, yeah, you might see some pretty good stuff this weekend.
All right, rounds 1 and 2 of the NACC championships for men's golf up in Kohler. Adam Volbrecht, 4-time NACC Coach of the Year. Go
Thanks,
get 'em.
Scott.
Appreciate
Go Warriors.
it. Thanks for watching.